Hello guys, welcome to Insa Electronics. So in one of my previous videos I have done a review, like a mini review about this very cheap Bluetooth speaker that I bought for around 120 Indian rupees. So in that video I said I will one day take apart this one and I will show you guys what's inside this particular Bluetooth device. So today let's do that. So since I have already done review about this thing, I'm not going to do the entire specifications and other things right here. And in that video I have mentioned that this one has, even though this one has microphone input and the cover says this supports headset and hands-free profile that can be used to answer and see, it can be used to answer and end calls. It says somewhere, it says that everywhere. So even though it says, this thing claims that it has that hands-free functionality, I wasn't able to actually make that thing work. Even with I have tried with 5 different phones and none of them was actually able to make a call through this. So like all Chinese products, they were making false claims, and there is only one way to find out whether there is an actual mic inside that thing. Where is that hole? And it says mic right there. It says that, see, it says somewhere it says that also. So there is only one way to find out if they were actually lying on our face, and that is to take this thing apart. And this has a beautiful spongy base, and this thing is actually really good. If you actually stick this on a glass or something, it will not actually move away that quickly. It's really smooth to touch, but it is actually effective on glass. So I can already see the screw holes for this thing. The camera is actually having some issues focusing on this black subject because of all the reflections and everything. So enough of talking, let's just open this thing up. There is one screw hole over here that can be against a star screw, Phillips type screw, and there is one screw out. Let's just use a magnet to keep that safe. And I'm using a magnet here to hold the screws in position, and now the other screw, it has to come out. Let's just use that one. And as I always say, these Chinese products make a lot of false claims. Oops, that was quick. It came apart really quickly because there is nothing else holding this thing inside. And that right there is the battery. Is there any markings on it? Obviously there is no markings on it. Is it going to be protected cell, or is it going to be, was I even in focus for that? I'm sure that this is going to be a protected cell because I can feel the assembly components in here by touching it. I can see the presence of a circuit board because there is some components inside. But as I always say, since I'm going to use this thing again, I'm not going to destroy the battery. And there is this sticky pad right here. Oops, it is making some noise. Let's just take that away completely. Okay, that has some really sticky glue on it. Let's just keep that there. And that right there is a circuit board for this thing. See, that right there is this entire circuit board. Now that's much better. So that is the Bluetooth antenna. Let's see if the chips has any numbers on them, which in most cases it won't. Okay, so this one has a number on that. It says 80, what does it say? 800. It says 8002B right there. See that? 8002B on that chip, and TBD523730 on that one. I'm pretty sure because of the way the speakers are connected, because of the way the speaker is connected right next to this IC, it is going to be an audio amplifier. And this one, we don't even have to look up for that chip because it's obviously that numbering is not looking like that it's going to deliver any datasheet. But anyways, 1 second please, I will just look up the datasheet and I'll be back. So quite obviously the 8002, that one, is actually a 2-watt power amplifier chip, and the other chip is, of course, as I said, it's an unknown chip. There is no reference to that chip even on those websites that sells you these spare parts and things like that. So that's one anonymous chip. And this amplifier IC is on its own is really beautiful because it can operate down to 2.2 volts. That's way below the standard lithium ion battery capacity. So you can actually power this IC from, say, a couple of standard AA cells, and this can output 2 watts at a 4 ohms load, and it even supports an 8 ohms load. And the specialty is that this thing is a class AB amplifier. And the let me just show you the circuit diagram. This is the pinout for this thing. If you want to read, you can just pause. And this right here is the application circuit. And being a mono amplifier, this thing can only support one single speaker at the output, but it can actually support the individual left and right channels, or you can just use a single channel input. The only difference is that the way the inputs are connected. As you can see in this one, it is actually designed for a mono input, so only one of the input lines is used and the other one is grounded. And in the stereo section, you are actually going to use these 8002 in the differential amplifier configuration. So the op amp is used to cancel out the other signal that's going on. So you can play both the left and right channels in, and you are still going to get a single mono output. And this IC has a beautiful little pop and click reduction. If you read the top section, it says improved circuitry eliminates pop click noise during turn on and turn off transition. That is really true. This thing is not making any such noise at all during turn off or turn on. Usually that happens when there is a charge left on the capacitor and things like that. But this thing overall is a really good power supply. Let me just bring this out of the frame, and I have now turned on the lights back on. So that is that particular chip that we were looking at. This one right here, it's a very beautiful amplifier, and this chip right here is a quite anonymous chip that does everything, because you can see the memory card reader goes straight to that chip. Even the Bluetooth antenna is coming straight to that chip. Is that actually clear for you guys? Yes, it is. And even the USB input is going straight to that one. The only thing that is not connected straight towards is the USB power. That thing goes through a diode for protection maybe, and it is going the all other elements. And this of course has to be microcontroller because it is a crystal that is nearby. So that means this thing is actually a crystal controlled microcontroller right there. The crystal frequency is around, it's too hard to read on the screen, it's, yeah, whatever it says, 26 kilohertz maybe. And because there is no obvious protection circuit that I'm seeing associated with the USB power input, I'm assuming that it is having everything inside the battery, and that is why I said I felt the SMD components here, most probably the DW01 and the MOSFET inside. So this is the, it's making too much noise.
Bluetooth mode.
That is a switch, and that is the color changing LED. And quite surprisingly, it's not an SMD one, it's a standard 3mm LED. That is huge color. It's creating a huge color cast all over the place. And that the other side has nothing on it. It's obviously a single-sided board. And is there anything that I'm missing? And yes, the actual reason why we are here is because we want to see if there is any microphone attached to this thing. Let me just turn the lights off. It's creating too much effects. And I guess you know the answer right now. Let's just see where is that going to be on the circuit board. Based on the position of this thing right here, the microphone has to be over here. Based on the position of the cover, the microphone is supposed to be placed in this position, and look at that, there is nothing on that side. So obviously this thing is not having the hands-free capability. They are just lying to you. And there are some there is a couple of pads that right there, but it says speaker on there, so it's obviously not the microphone inputs. There is no option that I'm seeing anywhere it says microphone in it. That is the battery positive and negative. And there is something that I'm noticing at the moment. If you look at the battery connection, it's just going straight to the switch, and when the switch is turned on, that particular track is going straight to the USB power line, I think. And also, surprisingly enough, there is no boost circuit that I'm finding in this. And I'm not seeing any kind of boost circuit like the inductor based boost circuit for switching the 3.7 volts to 5 volts for it to work with the 5 volt devices. So I'm guessing it's not putting out, my guess is that this thing is not putting out 5 volts. It is actually putting out whatever the battery voltage is. There is only one way to find out, that is to use the DC tester right here. Let me just turn this thing on once again, covering the speaker with my hands.
Bluetooth mode.
And whatever that is, let's just plug in the USB meter and see what it has to say. Yes, it is 3.6 volts. That means there is no boost conversion or anything happening. It's just putting out the battery voltage straight at the output. But that is enough, because as we all know, this one is used to read the songs on a memory card, like the USB pen drives. And pen drives, the USB flash drives are safe to operate at these voltages. They actually need only 3.3 volts as the minimum voltage for it to operate. So it can work perfectly on these 3.7 volts. And I'm wondering what happens if I plug in 1 amp load to this. Let me make sure it's 1 amp. Yes, I'm plugging it in, and it is, if you notice, the LED light will go down. It may not be that prominent on the camera, but in direct vicinity, in direct view, you can actually see the LED just go a little bit dim, because it is drawing that much current from this 3.7 volt battery directly, and safely nothing happened. That makes only one thing that is remaining to show you guys, that is to take out the speaker. Let's just open completely. And how is this thing connected here? Is it glued? Because I'm not seeing any kind of opening here. Is it glued or some? Okay, that thing comes out. That was easy. And feels like this has to come out also to reveal the speaker, because this side is completely sealed. There is no way I can open up that, because yes, that is sealed unit. This is one sealed unit right here. And the only opening will be from this top side. So I guess they actually put the speaker in and then route the wires outside. And I can see through this tiny hole right here I can already see the speaker is really small. It's not like the typical the 4.7 like the 4 ohms 3-watt speaker that you see, that huge one. I'm not having one at the moment handy right now, but anyways I will put a picture of that on the screen right now. And this speaker is much thinner than that. Obviously it doesn't need to be that much powerful because the amp is only capable of delivering only 2 watts of power, and that thick speaker that you usually get with these kind of music equipments are actually capable of producing more than 3 watts the minimum. And that explains why this thing is actually much cheaper, because the speaker and everything is of less power, so they can actually cut some price at that point. You don't have to worry about let's say the music quality or anything, just use it, that's it. And that's the Bluetooth antenna right there. And yeah, basically speaking, that's it. And this chip, I forgot to mention that this pin has an extra function. The data lines are being used as an auxiliary input, and I'm guessing that yes, it is also going to see the data lines are also going capacitively coupled to this IC right here. This capacitively coupled through this to the IC, so this IC is doing everything. And the switch also, this is a multi-function switch that has the press function to turn it into different modes. So obviously everything is controlled by this unknown chip right here. So yeah, that's it. That's basically it. We have solved the mystery of finding whether this thing actually has microphone input. And yeah, that's it. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you in another videos.